What day is it? What day is it? Mike, 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 Mike. What day is it? What day is it? Hump Day! It's Hump Day! Good morning, friends. I'm sorry I missed you last week, but we were busy getting ready for worship service to begin in both Fort Morgan and in Brush. In Fort Morgan, we're now worshiping at 9 o'clock outside next to the columbarium. And in Brush, we're worshiping in the sanctuary at 11 o'clock. So I hope that maybe you'll be able to join us. But remember, you have to decide for yourself. You have to decide if it's safe for you to be out. We do ask that people wear masks and observe all the rules that we're supposed to. But again, you have to know that you feel confident and comfortable in doing that. Today we have a story from the book of Exodus. It's one in which we find the people of God in a little bit of distress. Many years later, a new king came to power in Egypt. He did not know what Joseph had done there. But the king said, "There are too many of those Israelites in our country, and they're becoming more powerful than we are. If we don't outsmart them, their families will keep growing larger. And if our country goes to war, they could easily fight on the side of our enemies and escape from Egypt." The Egyptians put slave bosses in charge of the people of Israel and tried to wear them down with hard work. Those bosses forced them to build the cities of Pithom and Ramses, where the king could store his supplies. But even though the Israelites were mistreated, their families grew larger, and they took over more land. Because of this, the Egyptians hated them worse than before, and made them work so hard that their lives were miserable. The Egyptians were cruel to the people of Israel and forced them to make bricks and to mix mortar and to work in the fields. Finally, the king called in Shiphrah and Puah, the two women who helped the Hebrew mothers when they gave birth. He told them, "If a Hebrew woman gives birth to a girl, let the child live. If the baby is a boy, kill him." But the two women were faithful to God and did not kill the boys, even though the king had told them to. The king called them in again and asked, "Why are you letting those baby boys live?" They answered, "Hebrew women have their babies much quicker than Egyptian women. By the time we arrive, their babies are already born." God was good to the two women because they truly respected him, and he blessed them with children of their own. Sometimes in our lives, we don't know when God is going to call us to respond in different situations. Like these two women, they had spent their entire life working to be midwives. They were going about their daily tasks, helping people have babies. They really knew that they were a part of a greater group of the Israelites, but they really never had their faith put to the test. Then all at once it was. And they had to decide, were they going to follow the orders of the king, or were they going to follow God? They chose God. When we're confronted with issues in our lives, what decisions do we make? Do we choose the ways of this world, or do we choose God? It's an interesting question for us. It's one that probably many of us have faced over and over, and sometimes we've answered with the words of following God, and sometimes we have followed the ways of this world. But the good news in all of this is that God forgives us when we mess up or when we sin. And sin is not a part of ruling our lives. Sin is something that happens. And because of God's grace and love, choosing us first, we know that God forgives us. And the next time we're confronted with an issue, we can move forward and do our best the next time. Have a wonderful week, my friends. Peace be with you.